Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Sarah's Vegan Kitchen. I hope you're doing well. Now, I don't know about where you guys are, but here in Colorado, it's starting to warm up. Summer grilling season is right around the corner, and even though with everything going on in the world right now, we may not be able to host our usual big summer barbecue get-togethers or outdoor cookouts, I think it can still be so much fun to host a little cook-in for yourself or your loved ones, whoever you are living with, and just enjoy a couple of delicious summer dishes. So Kroger has kindly offered to sponsor today's video. I shopped at my local Kroger family store for all the ingredients for 3 recipes that I'm going to share today. I've got 2 main dishes that you can make on the grill or barbecue, or if you don't have one of those, you can also make them on a grill pan inside. And then I have a side dish recipe that I think you guys will really like as well. And I'll have links to all of the full recipes with more details down below in the information box. Check those out. And with that, let's get into the recipes. Our first dish is going to be these teriyaki burgers with grilled onions and pineapple. We're going to start out by making the teriyaki sauce. I like to make mine at home just so I can customize all the flavors, but you can also use your favorite store-bought sauce if you like. You're going to combine some low-sodium soy sauce with brown sugar, sesame oil, rice vinegar, lots of freshly minced garlic, and a few teaspoons of minced ginger. All those ingredients go into a small saucepan. We're going to heat that over medium-high until it reaches a boil, and then we're going to lower the heat and bring it to a simmer, and then we're going to add in some cornstarch slurry, which is just a little bit of cornstarch whisked into some water. The sauce is going to thicken slightly as it continues to simmer, and once it's thickened, you'll pull it off the heat and set it aside. Now we're going to move on to our teriyaki burger patties. So for this, I'm using a container of Simple Truth's Emerge plant-based patties. They also sell this in not patty form, just as meatless grounds, which I typically would use, but my store was out. So I'm just crumbling those burger patties into a mixing bowl, and I'm adding a few tablespoons of our homemade teriyaki sauce. Also adding in a handful of very thinly sliced scallions. If you like spicy food, you can also add in a drizzle of sriracha here, or a little bit of cayenne pepper or chili paste. And then we're going to add in some panko breadcrumbs just to help bind everything back together, since we added in some extra liquid with the teriyaki sauce. Now we're going to shape these into patties. You want them to be about 3/4 of an inch thick. And once they're shaped, you're going to stick these in the fridge for at least 20 minutes. Even more is better, and you're just giving the burgers a little chance to firm up in the fridge and letting the breadcrumbs soak up all the moisture so that they can bind the burgers together so they don't fall apart on the grill or stick to the grates. And you can use this as an opportunity to prepare your toppings. I like to slice up an onion. We're also using a can of sliced pineapple. You can also use fresh pineapple. And we're just brushing these generously with some olive oil, again, so that they don't stick to the grates and to seal in some of the moisture. Now you're going to preheat your grill, brush the grates with oil, and you'll start with the onion slices first because they take the longest to cook. These will get anywhere from 5 to 8 minutes per side, depending on your grill, just until they're tender and they start to caramelize and have those nice grill marks. Then you'll add your burgers and pineapple slices, and these get somewhere between 3 to 5 minutes per side. When you flip the burgers the first time, go ahead and baste them with some of your extra teriyaki sauce. And then when you remove them from the grill, give them another good brushing of the teriyaki sauce. I also decided to whisk a few tablespoons of our teriyaki sauce into some mayo. Also added in a little bit of sriracha to make it spicy. And you can also just make sriracha mayo or even wasabi mayo. I think all of these options would go well with this burger. And now all that's left is to assemble them. Just spread the buns with your teriyaki mayo and add your patties, your grilled pineapple, and your sliced onion. You can add in any other fresh toppings you like tomato or lettuce, and dig in. Our next dish are these grilled tofu and veggie skewers with a balsamic marinade. We're going to start out by prepping our tofu ahead of time. You want the extra firm variety so that it doesn't fall apart on the grill, and you're going to cut it into big chunks. You don't want them to be too small because that will make them hard to put on the skewers, so I typically get 12 pieces out of 1 block of tofu. You're going to place your tofu pieces on a clean kitchen towel and then fold it over itself and weigh it down slightly with a plate or a cutting board or anything flat, and then let it sit like this for at least half an hour. And this is going to press out a lot of the excess liquid from the tofu so that it can in turn absorb our marinade. In the meantime, go ahead and slice up your veggies. I'm using bell peppers, red onion, and zucchini, but of course you can choose any of your favorite veggies. I think mushrooms and eggplant would be great additions to this as well. And you just want to cut everything into roughly 1-inch pieces. I tend to cut the onions just a little bit smaller because they take a bit longer to cook. And now we're going to whip up our tangy balsamic marinade. In a large bowl, whisk together some extra virgin olive oil, balsamic vinegar, a little bit of maple syrup or agave, some Dijon mustard, and we're running a few cloves of fresh garlic through our garlic press. Also adding in some dried basil, dried oregano, and you'll also add in some salt and pepper. I started out with half a teaspoon each, but you can adjust that based on your preference. Once your marinade is whisked together, you're going to add in your pressed tofu and toss it gently to coat. Now, tofu tends to be a little delicate, so just take care not to crumble it while you're tossing it. You're going to cover this and let it marinate in the fridge for at least an hour, or for the most flavor, you can also prepare this the previous day and marinate it overnight. Now when you're ready to start preparing your skewers, bring out a tray. You're going to transfer your tofu onto that. And then you're going to throw your prepped veggies into the bowl with the marinade and toss to coat those thoroughly as well. This part is pretty straightforward. You're just going to thread your marinated tofu and your veggies onto your skewers. And if you're using wooden skewers, I do recommend soaking them for about half an hour first so that they don't burn on the grill. I was able to get 6 large skewers out of this recipe. And you're going to grill your skewers for about 10 minutes total and give them a flip midway. Just note that each grill is a little bit different, so keep an eye on them and you'll know that they're done when the grill marks are nice deep brown, but you don't want to let them get black. Then once you take your tofu off the grill, you can give it a little brush with some of the leftover marinade for some extra flavor before serving. We're starting out with our side dish, and for this we're making an herbed potato salad. This is a lighter take on the classic potato salad. It's got tons of flavor, lots of herbs, and no mayo. Start out by washing and peeling your potatoes. I recommend Yukon Gold potatoes for the best texture in this dish, but little red potatoes work as well. You can leave some skins on if you like the texture. I personally don't, so I peel them all. Then you're going to chop all of your potatoes into cubes. You want them as uniform as possible so that they cook evenly. I usually do about 3/4 inch cubes, but it just depends on how chunky you like your potato salad to be, so I will leave that to your discretion. You're going to transfer your chopped potatoes to a stock pot, and then you're going to add enough cold water to cover them by about 1 inch. Bring your potatoes to a boil over medium-high heat, and then you're going to add in a generous amount of salt. And cooking them in the salt water gives them a ton of flavor all the way throughout the potatoes. You're going to reduce the heat to low, cover it, and let it simmer for right around 10 to 12 minutes. And the exact length of time you'll boil them depends on how big you cut your potato chunks. You just want to pull them off the heat as soon as they're easy to pierce with a fork. As soon as they reach this point, go ahead and drain your potatoes and set them aside while we make our dressing. So I love adding lots of fresh herbs to this potato salad. That's what gives it so much flavor. So we've got some fresh chopped parsley, some fresh dill, and some sliced green onions. And as for liquid ingredients, you'll need some olive oil, a tablespoon of Dijon mustard, some red wine vinegar, and then we'll add in our herbs. And I meant to add in fresh minced garlic here, but I forgot, so I ended up adding it later. The juice of 1 lemon, you can also add in some freshly ground black pepper if you like, And then you'll whisk all that together to make a dressing. I also like to add a little bit of fresh celery to the mix, so I'm thinly slicing a few stalks to add a nice crunch and some extra flavor. Now into a big mixing bowl, we're going to add our potatoes that have been cooling slightly, then we're going to add our celery and then pour the dressing over all of that and give it a gentle toss to coat everything well. And you can serve this dish immediately while it's still warm, or what I prefer to do is let it chill for a few hours before serving it, and this just gives the potatoes a chance to soak up all the flavor. So those are 3 summer recipes that I have really been enjoying lately. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and a huge thank you to Kroger for sponsoring today's video. Make sure you check out the information box below for links to all of the recipes and more information, and I'll see you very soon.